Am I the asshole for correcting school papers in front of my ex-wife's husband? She remarried a few years ago and made it clear that she wanted no more kids. That really upset him. He awkwardly tries to bond with our kids and a few times he's crossed boundaries. I really have no relationship with him, but there is tension between us. My oldest started middle school, which required updating his registration information. My ex said she used the same information as before, but I wanted to change my email address. I went to his school and my ex's husband was there. He was dropping off some stuff for my ex. I didn't acknowledge him until I saw the paperwork for my son. The information was written out not by her but by her husband. He had listed himself as the parent, and me as an other contact. I looked at him and said, "Really, Brent?" He looked at me and asked, "What is it now? You put yourself as Tyler's dad?" It was a mistake if I did. Yeah, okay. Well, it's a mistake I'm correcting right now. It was embarrassing for him and I clearly put him on the defensive without warning. Like I said, I don't talk to him. He told my ex I made him feel like a criminal in front of everyone. My ex understood correcting the information but said there was no need to call him out like that. All I said is that he won't do it again based on how I handled it. Update: my ex and her husband asked me to apologize for causing a scene in the office. Not to them but to the office staff. Their logic is that my ex and I did a lot of volunteering at the school when our other son attended and the plan was for her and her husband to volunteer again. He feels like he's been pegged as a weirdo after I called him out over an honest mistake. I asked her what exactly was he going to be volunteering for. She said he wanted to work in the classrooms or special events. I told her that isn't going to fly with Tyler having Brent at his school like that.
Not the asshole. Doesn't sound like calling out to me. You just noticed, clarified, and corrected a mistake that he made. It only becomes a problem if it was intentional and there is cause for people to get emotional. Not the asshole. It was not a mistake. He did it on purpose. Why? Because he literally put himself as the parent and you as the other contact.
Not the asshole. I find that really creepy. Nobody, accidentally, lists himself as the parent and the child's parent as other. If he did not want to be publicly embarrassed, he should not have deliberately lied. It's good you corrected him publicly, because it will make it more difficult to be sneaky in the future, and the school will keep an eye on him.
NTA. He needs to know his place as the step-parent.
Not the asshole. His issues with not having bio children are not your problem. He's the stepfather, and you're an active and involved father. He needs to respect that line of demarcation and never again cross it.
NTA. This isn't an accident. My ex-husband is the father of my two oldest children, and I've filled enough of these out to know it is intentional. You don't accidentally put the wrong person as father. I mean, I've never accidentally put my current husband as their father. He did it because he wants the role and is just embarrassed that he got caught.
Not the asshole. Your ex kinda sucks for marrying a dude who wanted kids when she didn't want any more though.
The more I think about this, the more I think it's a good idea to get copies of all his school and medical files, and see who is listed as his contact. Make sure he has not been falsifying your son's records elsewhere. It would not at all surprise me if he has. Falsifying records is a crime. You may need to take legal steps to protect your son. Not the asshole. He's overstepped boundaries before, you're making sure they're upheld. You're good, this really shouldn't be a big deal.
Not the asshole, but make sure he didn't try the same thing with other paperwork, e.g. doctors, etc.
I know this is not the popular opinion, but I would like more info on the admitted tension and the step-dad's response. What is it now? That and the way op sounded in the post to me sounds a bit awe-ish. Since I have been in this exact situation, ex's wife put herself as mother and me as other parent, I understand emotions can run high. But what is the history of the tension between the two? If stepdad does this kind of stuff all the time, I can see where OP's reaction would be legit. But could op also have resentment towards the ex and new husband that he's not sharing? The stepdad's response of "what is it now" makes me think op may create more tension than he's letting on.
Not the asshole. You need to keep a close eye on things with his guy. Out of curiosity, if you know, did she tell him no kids before they were married or after? You are the asshole. For misleading title. Correcting the error wasn't the issue. Being snide about the error was the issue. He's not awkwardly trying to bond with our kids, he's forming a relationship with his stepchildren. Unless he has a history of trying to freeze you out, which you would have mentioned, you were out of line for the really Brent. The more I think about this, the more stupid it gets. The school doesn't give a damn about which are the bio parents. They just want to know who to contact. It doesn't make sense to have bio parents that don't live together be listed together, and then the step-parent, who evidently actually lives with the child, to be listed as a contact. Op got indignant over nothing. Not the asshole. From your son's perspective, in an emergency, you are the last contact. It's likely not a crime, but he felt like a criminal, probably only because he knew that it was wrong to lie to your ex about it, assuming that she intended to use the same info as before. Lucky you caught it in time.
Not the asshole. That's not a little thing on school forms either. They are pretty damn specific about relationships for safety reasons. Edit to add, I say that because in my eyes there is no way it could be an accident with the way things are laid out and asked.
The stepdad sucks for obvious reasons. Also, it is clear that you are treating him like crap because of your personal issues. You should know that is also hurting your kids. When you are so petty you won't even talk to the guy, that is sending your kids a message that they should not respect him. Maybe that is good for your ego, but your kids' lives would be better if they had a decent relationship with a man they spend half their lives with. Time to grow up and put your kids first. Everyone sucks here. While I agree he crossed the line, he isn't awkwardly trying to bond with our kids. He is their stepdad.
Not the asshole. That doesn't seem like something that's done on accident.
Not the asshole. It clearly sounds like he was trying to be sneaky. Like it's one thing if there was just a spot for parent, but he blatantly listed you as other even though you're the bio dad that is very much present in your son's life. I think he just wants to feel important, but he needs to earn that spot, not write himself in. Really, Brent? Made me laugh. Not the asshole.
No, I don't think he did it by mistake, but I don't think he did with malice. Why not just reach out to the dude? He sounds like he's really trying to be the best stepdad he can be. No one can take your place as his dad, everyone involved knows that, but you can't have too many good people for your son to look up to. You don't gotta be dude's best friend, but at least make it a relationship your kids will benefit from.
Not the asshole. If you weren't there it would have never gotten fixed.
Not the asshole. That was totally not an accident.
Not the asshole. He knew what he was doing. As an adult who grew up in a similar situation, with my mother remarrying my other dad, when I was a young teen, I'd like to encourage you to try and empathize with your child. I'm not saying that you are the asshole, but if your child is anything like me, they want the adults to deal with their stuff in a way that allows them to have a positive relationship with everyone, not be in the middle, and be mature. You may inadvertently end up alienating yourself because your anger can make a stressful situation worse. It is worth a consideration, if you value the relationship you have with your child.
Not the asshole. If you wouldn't have checked he wouldn't have ever told you. He was trying to be sneaky. Info: do they have him on weekdays for school? Did the form literally state, father, and his name was filled in? I'm a stepmom and on my child's form I am a primary contact because mom lives 20 minutes away and she only sees SD on weekends, if that. I do specify that I am stepmom, and not mom though.
Not the asshole. He knew what he was doing. Keep an eye on this one.
Not the asshole. There is no way he didn't know what he was doing. Perhaps starting it off the way you did wasn't the best. Maybe, Brent, why does it say you're Tyler's dad? That way it wouldn't sound accusatory, and you still got your point across. However, even if you did it that way there is a chance he still would have gotten offended. Regardless, you're definitely not the asshole, but he sure is.
Not the asshole. This warrants a conversation with the school. Aim to speak to the principal and possibly the social worker, counselor if your school has them. I realize what a school has in your area may differ from where I am. I am involved on the back end of stuff like this. Informing your school will help them prevent future such behavior.
Not the asshole. He knew what he did and he needed to be put in his place. I would keep an eye on him to see if he attempts anything else that would break the custody arrangement you and your ex have.
Why did I think Op was a teacher and the ex's husband was mad he was grading papers in front of him when I read the title?
Not the asshole. He crossed a red line. It is up to him to clarify with your ex that he wants a child, and that if she says not he will file for divorce.
Not the asshole. If you share custody, this could be a violation of that. It sounds like an attempt to keep you out of medical and emergency information.
Not the asshole. As long as you are an active and involved parent, he does not need to take your place. This was a mistake. It was intentional. If he wants to make a place for himself, he needs to do it without usurping your position in the kids' lives.
Not the asshole. He shouldn't have married her if he wants kids.
Not the asshole. Pretty clear cut.
Not the asshole. Did anyone else read the title and think it was about grading schoolwork?
Imagine the conniption fit that would ensue if the roles were reversed. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. He needs therapy. It wasn't a mistake and he deserved to be called out. Brent sounds super sensitive for something that shouldn't have been an issue if it was truly a mistake. Which we all know it probably wasn't. Either way, you're not the asshole.
Not the asshole. He can be listed as another contact, but no reason for him to be put as the other parent when you are the other parent.
Not the asshole. He conveniently plays stupid until he realizes he can't get what he wants. Couldn't marry a woman who wanted kids. Why do people do this? And now he can't properly put down contact information for the child. If he truly cared about Tyler, he wouldn't have played that trick. You're an involved father and of course, you should be the first point of contact for any emergencies. God forbid you didn't notice and Tyler notices Brent shows up more than his father. Tyler would start to get the wrong idea about how much his father cares. This dude is weird. I'd make it clear with your ex that it's not funny, and as much as you tolerate everything else, you won't tolerate him overstepping his boundaries again, so he can be prepared to be embarrassed the next time you rightfully correct him.
Not the asshole. I think, really Brent, is going to be my new favorite phrase.
Not the asshole. You literally caught him in a criminal act. I would start checking all the children paperwork, medical, social, etc., etc. Who knows what else they have him listed on.
Not the asshole, and this is potentially traumatizing to the kid. All teachers, principals, counselors, etc., have to go off of those forms. Imagine this conversation repeated constantly. So I called your dad, that's my stepdad. Oh, sorry, he's listed as your dad, I called your stepdad. It's going to get into your son's brain and either make him feel guilty for not calling the stepdad dad, or being closer to him, or it's going to push him really hard away from the stepdad. None of this is your doing, or fault, of course, but I think stepdad needs to realize what he is doing is going to cause harm while he fantasizes that this kid who, from what you've posted, doesn't seem to have much of a relationship with, is his flesh and blood. Stepdad is metaphorically digging his own grave.
Not the asshole. If he wanted kids of his own, he had a choice to marry other women.
Not the asshole. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Not the asshole. He told my ex I made him feel like a criminal in front of everyone. Well, he probably is. I'm no lawyer, but I'm sure there is a law somewhere saying you can't pretend to be the parent of a minor and fraudulently fill out documents to support the lie.
Not the asshole. He got caught red-handed and embarrassed himself. You and I both know he did it on purpose. He just so happened to be there at the right time and you handled it perfectly.